What's going on, guys? Back probably about 20 years ago, I guarantee maybe 19 years ago, I was working at a mortgage company right before, actually, right when I met my now wife, right? And this mortgage company, I only worked at probably for like a month or two because probably a month because long story short, but it, it wasn't what they were promising it. So what happened was they were based in New York and they were expanding into Michigan, so they were opening an office. They hired a bunch of people, and it wasn't set up yet. But we would all show up. We were getting we were getting a salary, but it was like some very small salary. It was like a bullshit salary, because it was all commission based, right? But because it wasn't set up yet, we're just kind of hanging around the office and just like learning. Like it was all training and stuff. And they never ended up. I ended up leaving because it was not. We weren't getting any of the leads. We weren't getting the call list, whatever. But when I was there, they were talking about the owners of the mortgage company were two. They were cousins. It was two cousins, and they supposedly they built a big branch of it in New York, and they sold part of the company to a bigger company. So, and I don't remember the background of these guys. I want to think these guys came from some money. The two cousins that owned it. I don't think they were like bootstrapping their way up. If I remember right, they started off on third base, right? So, but I always kept an open mind or whatever, and we didn't hear from them, and then and then they would show up during the training and kind of talk about the company and this and that. So, anyways, one time I'm in like on one of the floors, and I bump into one of the owners, one of the cousins, and I was 25 at the time, and he was probably like like in his 40s, kind of like my age now, and but I was only like 25. And I don't remember his name, but I went up to him and I introduced myself. I'm like, hey, I'm Paul. I'm working here, and I wasn't like kissing his ass or anything like that. I'm not that kind of person, but at the same time, I'm also ambitious, and he owns a company. Hey, I'm going to introduce myself to him and talk to him. Because I felt like even though he's like up here, it's like I feel like eventually I want to be on the level. So all I did is I introduced myself. I was like, hey, I'm Paul. I'm working at the company. I'm excited to work here, and we'll see what happens. He said, oh, okay, yeah, I'm so and so. I'm glad you're here, this and that. And so we start talking, just small talk for a minute, and his phone rings, and he picks up his phone and just walks away from me. Like what an asshole. And and you're gonna say, well, you know what? Big deal. Like he probably didn't want to talk to you anyways, and that's fine. He probably didn't. But I just what stuck in my mind. I just remember thinking just like how rude some people are, and how there's some people where they don't see. That's the thing I have an issue when and this was a company that talked about like in the training, it's like, oh, you're part of the so and so family now that you're working. And I'm always like, that's bullshit. It's like these companies don't care about you. And it's funny then I meet one of the owners that's like, no, he thinks absolutely zero of me. And it's like, and not that and I'm not even making a judgment of it. Is it good? It's bad. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if the company gives you a good opportunity, you can make some money, then who cares? Who cares, how he is? But they didn't, and the company ended up being shit, and it was a big waste of time. But it's interesting because while these companies will preach that you're family and you're part of their family, man, as soon as either they got to cut you or something, it's like, man, they'll lay off, they'll cut you like nothing, like they don't think twice about it. And they're like, even just talking to him, he obviously thought zero of me. So it's like, but yet they want loyalty, from us. But I don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting. But we'll wrap on that.